Our next guests are joining us for the very first time. Please welcome, from Prolific Real Estate, Maria Mikas and David Gullifer.
Here they are. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
great to
you.
have you here. Huge topic. I've been wanting to cover this forever now because we've seen things sort of shifting, changing a little bit. Just little holes here and there in the San Diego real estate market where sellers have just dominated the transactions for a couple, 3 years now, right?
That's right.
So I want to ask you guys this question, and then I want to kind of talk about home buyers and what they might be going through. But are we finally close to, if not in, a buyer's market?
We're getting more to, depending on the neighborhood, and the neighborhoods really are different.
Sure.
But in a number of neighborhoods, we're starting to see where it's more of a balanced market. And it's really a push from the buyers. Buyers are really now having to stretch because of the rise in prices to get into the homes that they want to get into. So they're really forcing sellers. They're pushing for more repairs or better quality and different things like that. So it's really a push from the buyer side, trying to get the seller to be accountable as a seller to make sure that they're getting a good home.
Yeah, and that sort of is an indicator, right, that we're
Right.
getting into a buyer's market, because in the past few
Yeah.
years, a lot of times buyers wouldn't have that kind of leeway. There were
Right.
so many other people
Right.
lined up for that property that they just kind of had to say,
Right.
yeah, we'll take it as is, you know.
Right, and the buyers now they're saying, well, maybe we don't want it then. You know, if you're not going to do what you're going to do, then we're going to wait and find the right house because we're spending a lot of money here.
Yeah, and so we're also seeing that there's still multiple offers, but not as many. So we're able to get a better price for our clients and not be as competitive. So,
Right.
Yeah, well, that's helpful, right? I mean, we kind of
Yep.
need that, don't we?
yep.
I mean, the seller's market
Yeah.
forever is really difficult.
Right, because
You know?
I think for a first-time buyer, when they're buying a property anyways, it's nerve-wracking and they're nervous and scared. So on top of that, to have multiple offers and to be competitive and to have to act quickly and jump on a property that they love and make a decision faster than they normally would is kind of nerve-wracking for...
It's uncomfortable.
It is
Yeah.
very uncomfortable.
Right? You have a lot of people second guessing
Right.
what they're doing in
Right.
those situations. Whereas
Right.
now, I mean, if you can go in and you can say, hey, we want this, we want this, we want this, and get it, you're
Right.
going to feel a lot better about it.
And honestly, because of that, we're seeing a little more fallout. We're seeing things fall out of escrow because the buyers aren't getting what they want. You know, so like I say, the buyers are the ones that are kind of pushing, saying, "Look, we need to be think about ourselves here, and maybe we should rent for a little longer until we find the right thing, or we find the right house or the right situation."
And that's
And
how
I,
a
yeah, and
market's
I
made,
think
right?
that kind of brings us back to how we typically work with buyers. When we first invite them into the office, we pretty much give them an idea of what the whole process is from start to finish, so that they feel comfortable when they're ready to make that first offer. And so I've been selling real estate for, 23 years, and about 5 years ago I had a client who was like, wow, Maria, I sold him a $75,000 condo, and I was so excited. And he goes, geez, Maria, you look like you just got into real estate, you know, and not only that, you're not even selling us a $500,000 house, you're selling a $75,000 condo. And that's the type of relationship that I have with my clients is...
You got to tell us where the $75,000 condos are.
Yeah, right.
Well, that was 5 years ago.
Okay.
But the interesting thing is we just got done selling his brother a $200,000 condo, so it's
Very
going
interesting.
up.
Yeah, it is.
And then the
Right.
mom is going to sell her property. So we like to build those relationships so that we have future business.
Of course.
You know, and we get a lot of testimonials and that's just, I just like to be real with clients and make them feel comfortable. And I think that's why we
So if you were going
have
to
so
be
many-
real with a buyer, a home buyer today, who says, and I know there's a lot of them out there, who say, you know, I tried to buy a house. It's impossible. There's, the lending has gotten so tough, and there's so many people who are trying to buy these properties that it's impossible. It's a needle in a haystack. What would you say to that person right now in this market?
Well, I mean, first of all, I would definitely invite them into the office just so that we can lay out a plan. And that's the thing that we do best is everybody wants now business, which I do too.
Sure.
But we have our pipeline where we have so many clients that, buy today, buy 6 months from now, buy a year from now. So our relationships are not just today. And they can feel that when they come in, when they say, well, gosh, the credit's not that great. well, let's see what it looks like, you know, and we can have you talk with them.
Still do it to this day.
So yeah, so we lay out a plan, and I'm very optimistic. You know, we don't want to give false hope, but we also want to make sure that they know that the dream is still alive.
I
And
agree.
whether it's today, you still want to buy next year, right? So let's lay out a plan and make it happen.
And I should just make a plug for my free service. I've been doing as Mr. Credit on the radio for years. I did free evaluations of people's credit reports. So if you're not sure, you know, how to improve your credit report, or you're looking to buy a home, or maybe that was the reason that you stopped because you couldn't get a loan, you can always reach out and I'll help you for free, 100%, to figure out how to fix your credit. That's what you're referring to.
And that is a huge step, and you do a great job. So
Right.
Yeah, well, I think what we've seen here is something really interesting. You've talked about sort of the bid and the ask and where things are at. Sellers are still up here. They're leaning a little bit. They're starting to give a little bit, but the buyers are down here and they're going, no, we need to get this, or we're going to go this way. Isn't that kind of the first domino in the shift from the seller's market to the buyer's market, which we could be potentially entering right now?
It is a good sign, and there's some other signs as well. We see buyers saying, well, maybe we should rent. Maybe it makes more sense for us to rent for a while, you know, which kind of sets them back. And so buyers aren't as scared about not getting into the market. They're like, well, maybe rent is a long-term possibility. Now, when I'm looking at that, I say absolutely not. This is the absolute best time to be a buyer because you can negotiate a little bit. You know, we've seen where it used to be where, okay, here's the purchase price, and then in order to get it, you had to be like $10 or $20 or $30,000 above it. Now, here's the purchase price, and maybe the best offer is at price, and maybe a couple are below. So the buyers are feeling more comfortable.
Yeah, a little more room.
Right.
And not only that, is with rents rising, I mean, we've literally, with the interest rates being very competitive, we've literally gotten clients into properties where their mortgage is about the same, if not less.
That's
And
what's
so
crazy.
that's amazing. We just did that. It's amazing. We had a client that had, you know, their payment was, their rent was $2,400 and their mortgage now is $2,150.
Yeah.
So they're like, wow, we own a house and it's less than what we were paying in rent.
And that's
Well-
a huge win-win. That's the no-brainer.
That-
when you're
yeah.
ever say the no-brainer, that's what I'm talking
That's it
about.
right there.
That's the no-brainer.
Well, and the biggest thing I think about a mortgage, there's two big things. One is if you're renting for a certain amount and then you're going to turn around and get a mortgage, even if it's for a little bit more, you have to remember that mortgage, if you get the right mortgage, it's never going to go up. Rents in San Diego are constantly rising. 5 years ago, they were $300, $400, $500 less than they are now, and they're going to continue to rise. So if you end up with a mortgage payment instead, that's something that'll stay the same for years and years and years. As your income goes up and as the market rises, you're going to have this fabulous mortgage payment that's lower than anything that you could rent.
Yeah, and that is,
know?
if you can ultimately get that and keep it, it's a hedge, because when you're buying real estate, it's not necessarily as much of an investment as it is a hedge, right? You're protecting yourself against rising rents by fixing in your cost, your housing cost. It's sort of, as a consequence, is an investment, because, by the way, it can go up in value. You're paying in equity. Those things are all consequences of a good hedge buying real estate. And right now, buyers are getting a little more leeway than they have in the past. So if you missed it the last time around, might be a good time to check back in. Thank you guys so much for being here, Marie and David. Thank you so much for your time.
Much
it was great
for
to have you on the
having
show.
us.
Appreciate your
thank
insights.
you.
Prolific real estate. And of course, stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV.
Where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else.
Commercial free.
No.
And I said,
So
well,
is this something that
came in
is
person. He
just
walks
for
in.
people
So
in the military that get PTSD?
At that
is this
point,
something that is
time,
more widespread than that?
2011 is when I started kind
Actually,
of
it's
developing
more widespread
the
than
system.
that.